everyone, my name is Mary Kate. I'm finishing up my rookie season with the Sirens dancers. I hope everyone is staying safe and healthy during this time, and shout out to all of our first line responders and employees who are keeping us safe and also keeping our infrastructure running right now. We really appreciate what you're doing. So today I'm going to be showing you all my routine for game day hair. Our sponsor, Model Call Salon, keeps our hair looking great all season long, especially on game days. One thing that's really unique about the Sirens dancers is that we are very diverse. We come from all different backgrounds and experiences, and we have different personalities and styles. One way that we get to showcase that is through our hair on game day. My style was put together by David at Model Call Salon, and I'm really excited to show you how I put it together. So my very first step on game day is actually to get up super early and take a shower. I have naturally curly hair and I like to play off that on game day, but I am not very talented at using a blow dryer, so I have to let it air dry. And so I get up early and wash it. So I'm gonna go do that first and then we'll get started. So the very first thing I do on game day is get up super early and wash my hair. And the reason I do that is because I like to utilize my natural curl in my look. And in order to do that, it looks the best if I take a shower first. I also don't use a blow dryer because I try to avoid heat treating my hair as much as possible just to keep it healthy. And also when I blow dry my hair, I end up looking like a lion, so I prefer this way. So the first thing I do when I get out of the shower and my hair is dripping wet like it is right now is I use my towel just to get the edges, and I go from the bottom up just to kind of hold the curl a little bit, and I do it all over so that it's not dripping wet. The next thing I do is I'll actually put gel in. So I use on a scale of 1 to 5, it's a 3 for hold. I don't like to use too strong hold gel because it can get crusty. So I do it when my hair is wet because it's less likely to do that, and I don't use very much. So I put just a little bit in the palm of my hand. Even that might be more than I need. And I just scrunch from the bottom up. So just like I did with the towel, except now I do it with my hands. The next thing I like to do is put it up in a t-shirt. So I'm gonna show you guys how I do that one next. So after I've finished scrunching a little bit of gel in my hair, I then wrap it up in a t-shirt. Some people like to use a microfiber towel. I wouldn't recommend using a normal towel like this just because it can be really harsh on your hair. So a t-shirt is nice and soft and good on your hair. And the other thing I like about the t-shirt is that I can use the armholes, if you will, to wrap it around my head, and it's stretchy. So how I do this is I take the t-shirt with the back side facing up and I put it on a flat surface. Then I flip my hair over so that it's hanging. And just like I scrunched my hair up earlier, I scrunch my hair into the t-shirt. So I'm going to attempt to show you this. So I put my hair over like this, and then I fold the shirt back over like so. And then, swivel chair, I tie it back here. It's a great look. And then that kind of holds my curls down to my head. It also helps soak up some of the excess water in my hair. And in general, it just keeps my wet hair off my neck, which isn't super comfortable, especially if I'm going to be spending a few hours letting it air dry. So I usually keep it in the t-shirt anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. It just kind of depends on how much time I have that morning before I go to work. But I mean, now that we are staying home, I have all the time in the world. So I'll probably do it for an hour and then come back and show you what we do next. Okay, so now that the t-shirt has soaked up most of the water in my hair, we can go ahead and take it down. So just like I tied it up, I untie it, have it come down like this. And then I like to make sure that my roots don't dry super crazy. So I run my fingers just across the scalp. I actually don't comb or brush my hair after I get out of the shower. So when I'm washing my hair, I use conditioner and I run my fingers through it to make sure I get all the tangles out. But if I comb or brush my hair when it's wet, then it will not dry curly even a little bit. It'll just dry funky. So we like to let it do its thing and keep the blow dryers and the combs and the brushes off of it while it's wet. So now we wait. It usually takes about 2 hours to dry once we're at this stage. I have a lot of hair, so it just takes me a little longer, but it might not take you as much. So we will turn the clock until it dries and then we'll pick it up from there. So once my hair has had time to air dry, it looks a little something like this. On just an average day, if I didn't have a game or any kind of appearance, I was just living my life, I usually like to keep it like this so that I can keep it healthy. I avoid heat treating it on non-game days and non-appearance days just to keep it as healthy as possible in between getting it trimmed. So as you can see, it's mostly curly, but there are some pieces that are a little limp. And so what I like to do is freshen it up by using a curling iron. I just use a regular curling iron, and sometimes I'll use a 1-inch iron, but also I sometimes will use a 3/4 inch iron. It kind of depends on how my hair dries that day. So if my curls are tighter, I'll use the smaller curling iron, but if my curls are a little looser, which is kind of how they are today, then I'll use the thicker curling iron. So whatever natural texture you have, just pick whichever. So before I start curling my hair, I usually like to work my part and then just make sure that the tops of my hair are all sort of even. During game days, we dance a lot with our hair. We're whipping it around, it goes everywhere. So I wanna make sure that it works from all angles, but I also wanna make sure that I am keeping it looking polished and not so crazy. So I will part it here. This is the side that I like to part my hair on. And then I'll just comb it a little at the very, very top. I don't comb my hair all the way through just because that will pull out my natural curl and then it won't last as long. But it does help my hair sit a little better on my head if I do comb through the top. So I stop about here and that helps keep the curl. Once my iron is hot and ready, then I get to curling. I usually like to start with it all the way down, and then that way I can kind of pick out the pieces that I think need help. So usually when you're going to be curling your hair, you section it off into pieces to curl all of it, but because I'm trying to utilize my natural curls as much as possible, I'm only going to curl some on the top and maybe a couple on the bottom, depending on how they look. So I take my normal curling iron and I section off just one of my natural curls. So since my hair is curly, it tends to kind of clump up in its own little curls. And so I try to keep those separated as much as possible. So I'll take my one piece of hair and I'll clamp open the curling iron and then I wrap it away from my face, just in a circular motion around the curling iron, hold it for a couple seconds. And then once that's done, I let it fall. I pull it just a little bit so that it can match the rest of my hair a little bit better. And then you can see there how the curl looks a little bit better than maybe say that one does right now. So I'm just gonna do this all the way around my head on all the pieces that I think look like they could use a little bit of help. So now that I've taken care of the very tops of my hair, Like I mentioned before, we move our hair around a lot on game days, so I like to kind of tousle it around and see how it looks from different angles. And if I notice a piece or a couple pieces that look out of place or maybe not quite as polished as the rest, then I'll curl those as well using the same technique I used before. So I'll zhuzh my hair a little bit at the roots, kind of to let those pieces that I curled with the curling iron start to blend in with my hair. Same thing with the other side. So for example, this piece here looks a little limp in comparison to my natural curls down here, as well as those curls that I did on the top. So this is one that I'd want to go ahead and curl with my curling iron. It's pretty thick, so I'm going to split it into two pieces since it's on the bottom, and my curly hair on the bottom is a little bit tighter than it is on the top. So I just do one. And I do it the same way that I curl the pieces on the top of my head. So I always curl away from my face. I also open the clamp so that I can get the full barrel. You can close it down as well, but that just adds a little extra heat to your hair. So if you don't need it, it's better to avoid that. If you have a wand, you can do that as well. I just have a regular curling iron, so that's what I use. Same thing over on this side. So for the most part, the top looks pretty good. Got a couple little wonky pieces down here, like that one. So I'll grab that piece and curl it. So kind of up to you, depending on how much you want to make your hair look a little bit more like it's been curled. I have days where my natural curls are just really behaving and I barely have to curl anything with a curling iron. So it just kind of depends on how that works and what you feel comfortable with. But this is about it. So then I just kind of flip it around, see how I like it, and then I add a little bit of product. So I actually don't use hairspray because I haven't really found one that I like. What I use is gel. So I'll show you how I do that next. So I actually prefer not to use hairspray. For some reason, it causes my curls, even my natural ones, to fall out or get a little stiff. So on game days, what I do is I will bring my gel with me to the arena, the same gel that I used on my wet hair. And throughout the game, as I kind of feel like either I'm getting sweaty and so my hair is doing something weird, or I just need a little bit of a lift, I'll take a little bit of this and I'll just run it through the ends of my hair. So I just put a tiny bit on my hand like this and rub it together. And then I just work it through my hair very lightly. You have to be careful when you work with gel, and I don't use a super strong hold one because it can cause your hair to get almost crusty if you use too much, especially if you use it close to your roots. So I try just to keep it on the end so that I can just scrunch it up and keep it looking voluptuous throughout the game. And then that's pretty much it for my hair. I like to just shake it around, make sure it looks good from all angles, and that's it. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Sirens Dancers hair tutorial. My specific look was put together by David at Model Call Salon, our sponsor salon for the 2019-2020 season. I really miss performing for everyone at the arena, and I'm looking forward to the day that we can all be together and do it again. But in the meantime, we are going to continue to put out content like this. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Also, if you like my makeup, another one of my Siren sisters put together a makeup tutorial to show you how we put together our game day face. So if you are interested in learning that, take a look at our channel and try that one out as well. Also, if you have any questions, we'll be sure to answer those as well, so you can put those in the comments at the bottom. Thanks again for joining. I hope everyone is staying safe and healthy, and I can't wait to dive in with you all again soon. Bye.